So a little while ago, I made a video talking about what you should do first at your day at California Adventure. And I mentioned that this would be the first of several videos to come. And then nothing came from that. Well, now let's talk about the obvious sequel to that video, what you should do first at Disneyland. Much like for California Adventure, this has two different parts because it depends if you are coming as a regular park guest at the rope drop or park opening, or if you're going to be coming as part of Extra Magic Hours or Magic Morning, because that will completely change the plan of what you ought to do. Let's start first if you're coming in an hour early. If you're coming in as part of Extra Magic Hours or Magic Morning, the first thing that you have to remember is that actually only Fantasyland and Tomorrowland are open, and not even the entire lands, but the vast majority of them. And so that does limit a little bit of what you can do. That doesn't mean that there's not plenty to do, but you don't have free range of the entire park. What I would always recommend doing is using that time to get Fantasyland done. This is the time when the lines at Fantasyland are going to be at their shortest. Even Peter Pan, although still at that early in the morning, the line is still ridiculously long. I don't get it. But if you're really that desperate to ride it, this could be one of your better opportunities to still get on without waiting for a very long time. Otherwise, all the other dark rides tend to have a very short line, and if you go early enough in that time frame, you actually could walk on to most of these attractions. And so you could get most of Fantasyland done, at least the classics, within that first hour and still have some time left over. One of the things that I even like to do during Extra Magic Hours would be to go on Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. That line is very long and moves very slowly during regular park hours, so it makes sense to me to try riding it when there's virtually no line. I only have to wait about 5 minutes. So that really, really helps out. Doesn't mean that I don't try to get some bigger attractions in, but you have other things that can help out getting those a little bit quicker. So that's why I'm not super concerned about them. Now, if you're coming after that period of time, like when the park normally opens at rope drop, the plan is actually extremely different. Instead of heading to Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, I would instead head the other way. Go to the western part of the park. Frontierland, Adventureland, New Orleans Square, all of that, because no one else is there yet. For some reason, even all the new park guests are still mostly heading toward Peter Pan and Space Mountain, but not so much to the other end of the park, so those lines are particularly short. You can virtually walk on to Pirates, Haunted Mansion, maybe wait 15 minutes for Indiana Jones, possibly less than that for Thunder Mountain. It's a great time to go over and get that end of the park done. Now, the funny thing is, even if you happen to be visiting Disneyland on a day when they don't have Extra Magic Hours or Magic Morning, you can still kind of head to the western part of the park, and the lines are still typically a little bit shorter there than in Fantasyland or Tomorrowland. I don't know why, but that does tend to happen. There are a couple things that I would suggest doing, or at least that we do, regardless about when we get to Disneyland. Number one thing is that as soon as you possibly can, get a Fast Pass. If you have a Max Pass, that's really, really easy to do because you can get a Max Pass as soon as you come through the gate, which is, being able to get it digitally on your phone. But if you're wanting to just use regular Fast Pass, remember that is free. You just have to get up to the attraction and get to the Fast Pass distribution area and get one. But I would get it as soon as you possibly can. This is when the most Fast Passes are available, and you probably won't have to wait that long before you can get on the ride anyway. And you can get multiple Fast Passes all at the same time. Also, we tend to just ride a few things and then stop for breakfast. Maybe this won't work for you and your family, but it works for us. If we're going during Extra Magic Hours, we get breakfast just after that hour is over. And if we're just going through normal park hours, then we go on like 2 or 3 rides, and then we stop and we get some breakfast and we move on the rest of our day. It just seems like a really good time. Usually around that time, we still haven't used our first Fast Pass yet. It's about time to, and we can usually get another one while we're there. So it doesn't feel like we're wasting time. We're just doing something else other than waiting in line. So that's kind of what I would suggest for you guys to do, but are there some things that you guys prefer to do first that's different than that? I know it's kind of weird because at California Adventure, I was like getting all those e-ticket attractions in first thing. Here at Disneyland, so many of them have Fast Passes that are so easy to get. I would just stick with getting Fast Passes and doing those later. But that doesn't mean you can't do them during Extra Magic Hours. You totally could. Totally up to you though. And since I know that a lot of you are gonna say something about that, but if there's any other things, let us know in the comments like what you do. Give some suggestions about how you like to start your day at Disneyland, what you like to do very first thing when you get there. Something else I just want to mention to you guys is if you've noticed and looked around at our social media stuff, you notice I had to do everything except Twitter. Well, I finally decided to just bite the bullet and try this out. So we're now on Twitter, so you can follow us there as well to get some more updates about things large and small. Otherwise, make sure that you keep subscribing so you can get more of our videos like this one, including our news videos, and make sure that you follow us around and kind of keep tabs on everything that we have going on so we can get more updates and ask those questions that you've got. And we will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you guys so much. We will see you guys next week. Bye.